Hi Sagittarius, thank you for joining me and welcome to my channel. It's been a while since I've seen you here, so welcome. And I'm excited to do your eclipse reading for Wednesday, and yeah, so looking forward to talking to you about that. Members, I will do a deeper exploration of your astrology for the next month. I just find that members like the astrology more than regular viewers, and we'll do like a spiritual deep dive into your astrology for members only as like a bonus, and thank you for waiting for me until I could come back. But today we're going to talk about a lot, and a lot of this content is going to be used throughout my videos anyway, so if you can't afford a membership, then that's a really good way to do it. I know there's like a donate button or other sorts of ways of giving money. If you're considering doing that, then just become a member and then you'll get free content along with your donation or gift, right? So on Wednesday we have an eclipse. It's happening in the sign of Sagittarius. It's in the 6th degree of Sagittarius, and it's kind of a big deal. And the energy overall at this time is deeply rooted in the sign of air. This is because the sun is in Gemini. Mercury is about to go through a retrograde period in Gemini. Saturn has just started a retrograde period in Aquarius. There's a lot of focus and shift around the air sign energy. You are opposite to Gemini, right, on the zodiac chart, and so the energy of the sun is impacting your sign a lot, and it's impacting this full moon. Now, I already talked about this on my weekly video last week. These single signs are a trade-off for a weekly this week. It's just a better way to do it. So anyway, but I talked about that a little bit last week with regard to Venus. But this week, the sun is with the North Node and a fixed star called Aldebaran. And so there's this kind of energy between the North Node and Aldebaran only happens once every 18 years. It's happening now for the next month, and the overall energy of this transit is one of high energy because it is said that Aldebaran has the energy of Mars. In ancient astrology, that's what it was defined as. So yeah, definitely this, like, the energy of Mars, high intensity, and when there's transits alongside of it at 9 degrees Gemini, then those transits are said to have a force behind them that can be successful, that can achieve a lot of things, but not without its shortcoming. But let's not focus on that here. The big part of Aldebaran is that it's an ancient, powerful star that kind of signified a great force to be attentive to. And so as two of the most important transits are right there with it during the eclipse, this tells us to be cognizant of that or aware of that. And so the sun is over here, and so furthermore, and so as it's with the North Node, it's kind of, North Node depicts where we are all collectively going right now on a spiritual level. And so as the sun is with the North Node, which only happens once a year, right? Or maybe like, is it once? Less than a year. It's like 11 months and some days, right? Because the North Node moves. But it's about an 11-month transit. That too is important because when you have the sun with the North Node, and I know many of you do have, it's a very fated position. It's a position that suggests that where you are going is like a gate of destiny. And this is a purposeful place for you to go. So this is a quick progress illumination of where your path is supposed to be and where you are supposed to go. Now, but the light from this area of where you are supposed to go is shining its light on your first house, Sag, and that is where the South Node is, along with the moon during this eclipse. And so in some way, for you, there is going to be an eclipsing out. You probably heard that before, of something to do with your personality, something to do with yourself that is in conflict with where you need to go. Where you need to go is right now highly focused on relationships, on partnerships of many different kinds. And so maybe some of your partnerships require from you different energy. They require from you different thoughts, different belief systems. Maybe you're changing your thoughts about things. Maybe it's time to change your thoughts about things. And so in order to align with these new partnerships that may be coming into your life. Now, Venus is about to leave Gemini, but this is a heads up that Venus is actually in your 7th house, which is very good for romance, romantic connections, sharing with people that you love them, and those kinds of things. So let me just summarize that in a different way. Basically, this whole transit is really focused on going somewhere in terms of love and partnership and alliances with special people in your life, okay? And in order to do that, we all have to do things to get somewhere. The eclipse is showing you or telling you what about yourself needs to change in order to do that better. Now, that doesn't mean that you're particularly bad or there's some really evil thing about you, but it is pointing out to the fact that at this time, in order to get to where you want to be, especially in the area of partnerships and love and marriage and those kinds of things, there might be some things that you need to let go of at this time in order to get there. Okay? Pretty cool transit. It's kind of even more interesting than that because the galactic center is in the opposite direction of the node. So the galactic center is actually over here on the chart, 24 degrees of Sag. So the nodes are reversed from where they're opposite. So when you consider it that way, so the galactic center is the center of our galaxy. And so it is the energy force that drives our solar system. So the sun is transiting around a Sagittarius A star, which is a black hole at the center of the galaxy, and that is the core area. So this is us, and so this is the ecliptic plane of our perception. There's the sun, but this all is moving around the galaxy, right? And so that center is right over here in the tropical system. And so essentially the nodes, which represent backwards and forwards in time, metaphysically speaking, in a spiritual level, are opposite to that. So in some way, what I would say for you, Sag, specifically, is that this adjustment that you are making with regard to your personality in order to take a step forward with regard to partnerships in some way is actually a detour on a greater path of life that is being directed by the Sagittarius A energy that's going right through here. That's where the Venus is transiting. So it goes right across this line right here. Actually, right where Mercury is starting its retrograde on Friday. So it's kind of like a U-turn, but not yet. This part of the U-turn is definitely you moving forward towards this Gemini position. That's metaphorically speaking, something that brings your attention to partnerships and relationships. But then in your first house, it kind of reminds you in some way that you have to kind of think about, and consider who you are and what are you specifically. With eclipses, there is especially full moon, there's a little bit of a letting go energy. So what are you refusing to let go of about yourself that is either harming your partnership or that is stopping you from having a partnership or keeping you in a partnership that you don't need to be in? Because I feel like it's time for a change for you with regard to your personality, with regard to, and that's no shade to any Sagittarian out there, but it's time for transformation. It's time for you to go after what you want and relinquish those things that are stopping you from being there. Okay, I got slightly distracted because I have a bird sanctuary that I've been building on my balcony for a year, and I finally figured out how to get my favorite birds, which are, wróbel in Polish. I don't know if you in English, in your language, what it is. But maybe tell me what it is if you know. It's like a little tiny bird, but I figured out I can get them to come with sunflower seeds. So, and that's like, I'm happy with that because it's inexpensive and easy to get. So yeah, and they give me gifts like, I'll show you guys. Sorry for the tangent. Some people like them. They gave me this 2 days ago, so it's wilted now, but this is a little pea flower that they gave me. It was really pink and cute. And then they've also left a couple feathers. One was left before, but I think these are the hummingbird feathers. And one was yesterday. And they were left about a year apart. There was another feather, but I lost it, and I'm so sad. Oh, and they left me this berry too. So this is my little container that I put them in. But they left me this weird random berry too. And I'm like, thank you. What is this for? You know? Thanks, guys. Okay. So maybe that's a message for somebody. I go with these things as they come to me. I don't know why I'm talking about them, but sometimes it helps some people. Okay, so let's take a look at your core energy cards. So this is more of like to tap into your energy. So we have this card. These are not tarot cards. I know they're called tarot cards, but I really don't think they're tarot cards. I think that she actually created her own system of divination. And this is the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. And I think it's really an amazing deck. I really love it. And then we have the Six of Water. Okay. And that's the Six of Cups. And we have the Ten of Swords. This meaning is completely different than your Ten of Swords. So this is Ten of Air. And we have, there's definitely love coming for you if you've been waiting for love. There he is. And this is like in the future, so don't expect it this week. And then we have the Mother on the bottom. Okay, there we go. There she is. So it looks as though you're facing something from your past, just like we saw in the astrology. There's something that's highly intuitive and emotional about this situation for you. So there's a real healing push towards where you want to go or who you want to be. The Six of Cups is like from your heart you want to go, seek where you're going and find an answer. I feel like there's a connection between these two people. So this is you regardless of your gender, and this is where this person is. And even though I don't feel like you know them yet, I feel like you're pulling each other towards each other. So it's very synchronistic. If you have children, I feel like the message is that your children have been a hindrance to your love life, and that's not on them, that's not their fault, but it really feels as though you had a complicated, you had children in complicated circumstances, like maybe a bad father or some other issue that got in the way and just essentially took you out of your love trajectories. And then if it's not children, then it's your mother, in which she in some way had set you back, either with expectations or something. And you need to say, I shouldn't say you need, but you are saying goodbye to that. And it's a long process of letting go of a system, a belief system, a belief structure that you have been encoded into. And so it's like, it's not a bad situation. I would call this a wake, an emotional wake for the past, but it's also saying goodbye to your past self in order to move forward towards the person who you're meant to meet and the person who you're meant to be with. So I feel as though there's a lot of baggage here for you. And it's not that, and if it is your children, I don't feel as though you particularly are hurt or by the circumstances that happened. It's just a matter of a fact of life, right? In some way. But there's definitely there's things in your past that I would consider baggage or weighing you down or holding you down or keeping you from going where you would have gone if you were free. And so I almost feel like you're looking back at that now with some degree of distance. You have separated yourself from those things, And because of that separation, you're kind of observing it. Like, maybe imagine almost like reading a journal that you wrote several years ago and considering what you had wrote and thought. I feel like that sort of energy is here. I feel like this is the most important card in this spread. And this is you looking back at the past and sort of, how sometimes people throw a note in the ocean, or, the imagery here is of someone and water. And I know you're a fire sign, so like burning a note, but the imagery that I'm getting for this situation has a lot to do with water, which is emotions, is telling me that it's about emotions or memories from the past. Okay, so very much saying goodbye to something. And if I projected too much about relationships into this can have to do with just an aspect of who you are and saying goodbye to that so you can move forward. But it is a U-turn in a bigger picture. That bigger picture won't manifest for some time, because until the North Node, here, let me show you, until the North Node starts moving, which way is it going? It's going in this direction. So until the North Node comes back around, like until it's here for the next couple years, you're still going to be focused on this aspect of your chart, right? So it's sort of inverse from this. And for you, that's most dramatic because that's your sign. For all of us, it's happening. You're not the only one, okay? There's like something's pulling us in one direction, and then I believe that most of us in the next 5 years will make a big U-turn towards something else. But, kind of like the fool's journey, kind of come back in a different state of mind, different experiences and wisdom. Okay, so let's do 5 cards and then 5 more, and we'll take a look at your energy. So it starts off really dramatic. This is actually the same, meant to be the same card, but they carry different energies. And then we have the 5 of Swords. There's definitely, I think you've definitely put in a lot of effort into a relationship from the past, and it feels as though you feel as though this is a relationship that was worthwhile to invest energy into, but it also feels like a regret, because it feels regretful because you couldn't help and fix them or this situation. So there was no other way to go about it, because you would feel bad any other way. So trying was the best solution until you felt very confidently that this was, not the situation that you could continue. It took you a lot to say goodbye to it. And you're still dealing with the consequences of that goodbye. And then we have lots of 5s. Look at this, 5 of Cups. So it's definitely pointing in the direction of you're leaving a situation in which there was fighting or quarreling, broken hearts, and feelings of hurt. Really leaving something behind. And then we have this, but it's taking turn in a good direction. So Star is one of the best cards on the deck. And that often happens in spreads where there's, after a period of darkness, this happens in life. There's a turnaround and a transformation. So something that you're not seeing is going to come into your life, and it's going to bring a sudden change and an opportunity to change. So your goal right now is to process the feelings of the loss you've experienced, that you've had, and get ready to accept whatever is coming, because whatever's coming is fated, unexpected. I would rather say that it's happening really fast. This is going to happen after the eclipse. And I really feel like there's something or someone you're saying goodbye to from the past. The next card is it slowed you down a lot. How much time did you lose, Sag? So it really feels as though there was a lot of time lost. You were drawn into relationships that were not serving you. There were complicated relationships in which there was no easy solution, right? And that's really true for a lot of that's how it feels so close, because I think that most people would walk away from a problematic situation that's not really deep, right? So for whatever reason, it feels deep, it feels close, it feels like it wasn't easy to turn your back on it, and you simply, let it go. And then we have the Page of Pentacles. There were financial ups and downs too, in the sense that maybe you tried before to leave, but because of finances. I also feel as though maybe you started several jobs and or different opportunities, and you thought, oh, maybe school or whatever, but you had several beginnings and then had to pull back, which made you shy of moving on from the situation in the first place, because it just took several iterations, different circumstances, different timings. And then we have the Hanged Man. These cards do have a couple doubles in them, and I keep them in for a purpose. So, you know, the fact that this card has come up a couple times is pretty dramatic, and it really suggests, it really feels like it, even until the present time, because this is probably our gauge of the present moment, you're still probably really bogged down by whatever was holding you back. Situational, emotional, relationship with other people, that sort of thing. And then we have the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy, or Venus right there. I bet the big cards are coming here, and you know I pick the cards pretty easily. And then we have the Queen of Cups. That's really nice. There could be a Scorpio ahead of you. That's very important, because these cards go together. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles here on the bottom, which is Sun and Virgo. I really feel like you pulled yourself up by your own bootstraps. I feel like you worked really hard to be in this position. Even if you don't have a lot of money, I feel like you put a lot of effort to get away from whatever this was, whether it was emotional. Like, it's been a long journey for you. It's been a long journey of dealing and processing, accepting. Maybe we should look back on the other cards. Maybe I'll do it like this for everybody else. That's probably better, eh? Using this as a guide. Okay, so there is a lot of sentiment here. It was more like this, right? There is a lot of sentiment in this spread. I see you feeling a lot of empathy, sympathy, emotion for the past, and I see it really hurting you. And I see it as very much hurting you, stifling you, holding you back. Problematic relationships, the gray area, you know, in love, in circumstances. And so I think that there's this saying that comes to mind when I'm looking this, you know, the skills and the personality that you used. Let's bring up your chart to remind you. The skills and the personality you used in order to get out of a situation are the skills and the personality. Now that you have gotten out of it, you need different skills and personality aspects to get to where you are going. And I think that has to happen. This will happen really fast for you, a change of pace. I think you're shifting from really, it looks like cutting someone out, shutting off the phone, blocking someone, towards a very quick moment in which someone with you will form a very close relationship. Now, for some of you, the immediate present, especially if you don't date women. If you date women, there could be a Scorpio coming your way or another water sign. But if you don't date women, and this is just used, take that on liberally. So mix up, you know, the suggestions, like to what seems right to you. But it really feels as though friend vibes also, like somebody watching, like someone steps in, maybe a boss or maybe a coworker or maybe someone else who is nurturing towards you and caring towards you and helping you in your circumstances. This is almost like a little miracle that you are getting, and it's your time. Like, the time is to move forward, and the reason it's happening is because someone's waiting. You know, they're waiting for you, you're waiting for them. It's all that good stuff. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk with you soon. Members, you know what to do. It's in the description, and if it's not in the description, it'll be in the description soon. Take care. Bye.